I apologize. Boris Johnson ripped apart for BOOZY party leaving the Queen alone on grief event. Downing Street held yet more parties throughout the COVID pandemic, with events taking place every Friday as Prime Minister Boris Johnson encouraged staff to let off steam even though indoor socialising was strictly banned. The regular event was so popular that staff even invested in a £142 drinks fridge to keep their bottles of white wine, Prosecco and beer cool. Reports that staff took a suitcase to a supermarket to stock up on booze ahead of a party on the eve of Prince Philip's funeral were not a one-off. Sources claimed that aides took turns on Fridays to visit the local Tesco Metro in Westminster with a wheelie suitcase to fill up the 34-bottle capacity fridge. At the time, rules banned 2 or more people from different households from meeting indoors, unless reasonably necessary for work purposes. Downing Street today apologised to Buckingham Palace after it was revealed more parties were held in number 10 the day before Prince Philip's funeral last spring. It was just hours before the Queen sat grieving alone at St George's Chapel, Windsor. In an explosive revelation, number 10 insiders claimed the PM often witnessed wine time Fridays on his way to the Downing Street flat. One source said, Boris used to stop by for a chat while they had a drink. It was on the way up to his flat and the door was usually open. He knew about it and encouraged it. Another added, he could see everyone sitting there drinking as he walked up. He would come in and say hello, everyone had a hard week. Letting off some steam? Oh great. The idea that he didn't know there were drinks is total nonsense. If the PM tells you to let off steam, he's basically saying this is fine. Downing Street's humiliating apology to Buckingham Palace comes after 2 leaving DOS the night before Prince Philip's funeral last spring. The Prime Minister said he understands the British public's rage over the incident, but insisted he thought it could have been technically within the rules. Johnson told the MPs that he attended the May 28 event to thank groups of staff, adding that he left the party in 25 minutes. I want to apologise. I know that millions of people across this country have made extraordinary sacrifices over the last 18 months, Johnson said as calls for his resignation grew louder among the opposition MPs. I believed implicitly that this was a work event. With hindsight, I should have sent everyone back inside. I should have found some other way to thank them, and I should have recognized that, even if it could have been said technically to fall within the guidance, there would be millions and millions of people who simply would not see it that way, he said. Starmer, however, continued to demand his resignation, saying that it was ridiculous that the Prime Minister didn't realize he was at a party. Labour leader Keir Starmer stepped up calls for the PM to quit. He said, "This shows just how seriously Boris Johnson has degraded the office of Prime Minister. The Conservatives have let Britain down. An apology isn't the only thing the Prime Minister should be offering the palace today. Boris Johnson should do the decent thing and resign." Lib Dem leader Sir Ed Davey said, Boris Johnson should apologise personally to the Queen for the offence he's caused her and millions around the country mourning for loved ones. He should also use that opportunity to officially hand in his resignation. Grieving families who lost relatives to coronavirus blasted Downing Street staff who partied the night before the royal funeral. Fran Hall, of the COVID-19 Bereaved Families for Justice said, if your neighbours had behaved like this, you'd have been disgusted. For the people running the country to do it and then lie about it shows a complete disdain for the general public. We shared the same pain of grieving in isolation as the Queen did, and she must be just as sickened as we are at hearing this. She must be just